Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Tuesday, June 27th, 2017 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I nurture my inner harmony. And today we have overall, I think, a pretty good astro day. I want to encourage you to check out our weekly GPS, as where me and Nicole Ullman go through the week in advance. And we actually included July, going over July, a brief overview of July in and through this, since we turn into July this week. Transit into July this week. I don't know what the proper language would be. So moving into that, might have some support for you. To me, today's astro is a foundational lesson in what will support us through these transits that we went through in GPS. So we have the moon finishing up in Leo, shifting into Virgo a little bit later in the day. It'll shift into Virgo at 5:40 p.m. Pacific time. So beforehand, the moon is making mostly positive transits. The first transit of the day is a little bit of a challenge. It is a square. No bad transits though, always helping us, always supporting us. This connection is Moon in Leo, square Venus in Taurus. Master level lesson. 22 degrees. Anything that's that master level is like, okay, we've got to master this in ourselves. Venus in Taurus is working our worth. Now, this may show up in our abundance, and I don't just mean abundance of money. This may be our friendships. This may be about beautiful things and pleasure in your life. Are you allowing your worth to show up? And do you know your worth? Moon in Leo, it tunes us into our royalty. We all have divine star royalty within our systems. I love the quote from the Talmud. Be humble, for you are made of dirt. Be noble, for you are made of stars. So knowing the nobility of the stardust that does exist within yourself and treating yourself as such. Today's energy mantra, I nurture my inner harmony, is such a big piece of this. Today we have 6 degrees, which is Libra energy. It's Venus energy. It's finding that balance. And I really do have that. I have that in the cards too, is your path is not going to be anybody else's path. No comparison. You've got to integrate. Find your own personal balance of this work. So how are you showing up in your life, allowing your worth to come along? Like I said, master level lesson. This is also 22, which has that Uranus energy. So sometimes there can be some triggering. Now, that being said, it's like happening at like 3 in the morning Pacific time. So those of you in Europe, for instance, may really feel this. Those of us here may experience this in our sleep. But pay attention, because I do think that this, like I said, is foundational for what's coming up. We then have the moon continuing on, a trine with Saturn, and then a trine with Uranus. So it's a wide grand trine in fire. So here comes the fire energy. Here is the passion. Here is the ambition. Here is the inspiration coming and moving us. Saturn is retrograde in Sagittarius, taking us into old beliefs, taking us into old truths. This is actually happening, this connection between the moon and Saturn retrograde is at 23 degrees. So there will definitely be a mental component playing in and through this. And this mental component may be tied into that moon square Venus thing, because, you know, Venus Venus is coming up, working with Saturn. It's going to be actually an inconjunct with Saturn, but still Venus will be working with Saturn very soon as Saturn retrogrades and Venus continues moving forward. Comparing yourself, you cannot compare where you are at on your path, what you are doing for yourself with that of anybody else. You can get inspiration and ideas, but stop comparing yourself and instead notice what it is that you need for you. Anything else is just, it's collecting the wrong kind of knowledge. You know, you have all you need within and you know what you're doing. Keep walking along your path. Keep listening to the beat of your own drum. You don't need to take on somebody else's beat. Do your own beat. Do your own funky dance. Octopus, it's all figure-outable. And work that process. Uranus, feeding into this energy, is echoing that message. Uranus is like, hey, have you learned this lesson yet? Moving through Aries, we're near the end of Aries. We're at 28 degrees Uranus today. Uranus is at 28 degrees Aries today. Wow. So 28 degrees, you know, next to the final degree of this energy. 28, there's that 10 again, knowing your worth. You've got to know the worth of your own authentic expression and own it, express yourself. That moon in Leo is all about the expression of that energy. No comparison, integration of your personal self so that you can move forward in and through this. So we have that going on one hand, all that fire energy working us, inspiring us, moving us, grooving us. Then, meanwhile, we have Mercury making some connections. We have Mercury squaring Jupiter. Here it is again, comparing other people's stuff. That Jupiter is now direct in Libra. It's still at 13 degrees though, so that revolution, evolution, that Mercury in Cancer is like, oh, it would be really comfortable to follow their path, to do what they're doing, to do what my parents did, to do this thing that they all said to do. You can't do it that way. If you do it that way, this is going to be what it's going to be. I have a different message actually for this card, the adventure card in reverse. But this is your call to break yourself out of that and break yourself out of the mental patterns that are keeping you stuck in that comparison, in the, oh, I should do it this way because that's the way it's always been done kind of thing. So here's an opportunity to nurture yourself, nourish yourself, find that inner harmony, your personal inner balance, your personal integration in and through this. Now this next card kind of pulls it together. The next card, not the next card. The next transit pulls it all together. I'm having a Mercury retrograde in my mind today. We have Mercury trine Neptune. Neptune retrograde in Pisces. So I do have the past lives card. And I actually have from the Yantra deck, I have the Ketu card, which is the South Node card. And so one of the things that is happening in and through this transit through our mental processes, we're getting in touch where we may have, or our ancestors may have, or our past life selves may have come to the same crossroads of like, am I going to choose me? Or am I going to do it the way it's always been done? And where we may have chosen the way it's always been done. And so this is an opportunity to break through, break that patterning, and make a new choice. Now I do have to mention, what came through with this adventure card is some of us may feel that we're standing still. And so we're tempted to follow that old way because it feels like it's a standstill and that we're not moving. And the message from the universe is like, no, it only feels like you're not moving. You're doing deep work at this time. There are lifetimes of things being unwound in this moment. This Ketu message is beyond silence. Be here now. Be in this moment, and to thine own self be true. Nurture your inner harmony. Fall in line with your inner harmony. Honor the fires of inspiration within you. Know that things are happening. Shift is happening. You're getting into the new flow, going into the new flow of that which honors yourself. But you've really got to be willing to be present, and you've really got to be willing to march to the beat of your own drum. So that's what it's going to be, like having that strength and that courage of Leo. Good, because we have the moon in Leo. Having that strength and courage to keep setting your feet down intentionally and intentionally taking the next step, knowing that you are honoring yourself and going in the right direction and really trusting that energy. So we will then have the moon at 5:40 shift into Virgo. There are no lunar transits throughout the rest of the day, but the moon in Virgo attunes us to our physical reality, our physical body. And this is another way to tune in. Are you taking steps that honor yourself? Your body will always tell you yum or yak. Are you listening to your body? And again, we went into the moon in Virgo in GPS. That moon in Virgo is setting us up for healing. We are building into Chiron going retrograde later this week. We're building into a kind of intense July. Listen to your body. Find the harmony within to help give you a nice little, like I said, foundation for what we are moving into. Finally, I pulled two Yantra cards. So I had the Ketu card, this is the South Node. Ketu is the South Node in Vedic astrology. Be here now. Look at this beautiful art. Be here now. Be in the center. Be here now. And the other card that I pulled was kindness. Soften your belly. Be kind to yourself and others. Really find that kindness first in yourself, and that kindness will pour forth from you unto others. But start that foundation here. I want to actually mention one last thing that I didn't mention in the astro. Pallas. Pallas is actually shifting today into Taurus. So Pallas in Taurus is going to be working us through these old worth lessons that are tied to these patriarchal systems, that are tied to potentially issues around the father, issues around rules, issues around society. So that is going to help us rise and raise ourselves into this next level by facing, okay, where have I turned my light down? Where have I dulled myself in order to fit in? And I know a lot of you watching this can resonate with that. Where have you dulled yourself in order to fit in? And maybe it's time to start turning that knob up in accordance with where your own fire is at in yourself right now, in accordance to where you are at level-wise with how you are nurturing yourself. So that is it for today. I have my reading sale going through Sunday, $44. So if you haven't gotten one at this sale price, now is the time to do so. And I will see you tomorrow. And Lala comes right at the end just to say hi, Lala. She says hi. So that is it for today. Namaste.